Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Televised Podcast. My name is Anna, and today we're going to be talking about the Supergirl Season 5, Episode 1 season premiere called Event Horizon. It was great. I'm kind of broken right now, but I think that's okay. I don't even know where to start with this episode, honestly. I think how I'm going to try to structure these, because I've never done a recap before of a full episode. Obviously, this is my first one. I think I'm going to try to hit the main key points of the episode, stuff that I think worked, stuff that I think maybe didn't work, stuff like that. Talk about characters and kind of use them as a launching off point instead of going in chronological order. And then yeah, so I it's going to be kind of a recap, but more kind of a review / most important things, a too long didn't watch, but not really, because I would absolutely recommend watching this episode if you have not. And I'm going to go over some theories that I have in regards to this season, just to the episode, what was going on, and just to talk about stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this. But before we get into it really quick, I do want to say a quick little review of Batwoman. I kind of want to add this into our weekly episodes, just a little bitty segment about Batwoman. Obviously, feel free to just skip ahead if you don't like Batwoman, but I really enjoyed the first episode. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really strong pilot, although it did remind me a lot of Arrow. Which I was a little bit worried about because, this is the show that's meant to replace Arrow kind of in the Arrowverse. So I was a little scared that it would fall into Arrow's cycle, I guess, of patterns and seeing Kate with that guy and he's training her. It really made me think of Arrow, and some of the flashbacks feel a bit Arrow, but I think it was a very solid first episode, in my opinion. I really enjoyed it, especially the twist at the end. If you haven't seen the episode, I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go watch it. Honestly, I would 100% recommend it. Ruby Rose is good at acting. Well, she's okay at acting. She's a CW level actor, and that is all she needs to be. And I think Kate is done really well. Sophie's done really well. I'm a little worried about some potential cheating. Oh no. But I think it'll be okay. But I love Alice. Honestly, if you are against Batwoman, if you're against Ruby Rose, whatever, watch Batwoman just for Alice. Seriously, it's only been one episode, and I think she's already my favorite Arrowverse villain. I love her. She is so good. And this twist at the end revealed something about her that I find very intriguing. So I'm really excited to see where her storyline goes and how Kate deals with her. Because if you did not know, she is the villain of the show, played by Rachel Skarsten, I think is how you say her name. She played in one of the later seasons of Reign, the CW show about Mary Queen of Scots. She played, I don't even know who she played on that show, but she was on that show, and she's incredible in this Batwoman. She's amazing. She plays Alice. So if you have not checked out Batwoman, I totally would. I'm not going to dedicate, like I said, I'm not going to dedicate a whole lot of time to this, but every week I just kind of want to give a little shout out to Batwoman. Just kind of, say what I thought about the episode. I thought it was really good. Thought it was really strong. Just the usual. So for Supergirl, we had season 5 premiere episode 1, called Event Horizon, and I'm going to kind of start small, but not really small, but just with kind of stuff that I don't have a whole lot to talk about because it wasn't the prominent focus of the episode, and then I'm going to get into the real nitty gritty of it all, which honestly has everything to do with Cara and Lena, because that was who this episode was about, really, But first of all, I want to get into Andrea Rojas. I'm not going to try and say it like she said it. She said her name very beautifully in the show last night, but I'm not going to try. Melissa tried. She really did, but it was fine. So Andrea Rojas, I think that this new policy that she introduced was very interesting. she is basically saying, like, we're going to do tweet journalism. She's like, instead of writing an article, you're going to write a Twitter thread, you know, like, it's all about clicks. It's all about how much of an audience we're getting, how much audience engagement we're getting on these posts that we're posting. I think it's really interesting because it is like a question and a thing that like media companies are facing now. Like, should we be honest with our titles of like our articles, or should we make them clickbaity? I mean, everything is clickbait today, you know? And I'm not trying to sound like, you know, everything is evil and social media is evil or whatever, because it's not. I love social media. Like, it's my favorite thing. But it does have a downside when it comes to journalism and people just reading a headline or just reading a tweet about it, you know? And Andrea is fully capitalizing on that, whereas Kara and James and Nia are like, well, what the hell? Kara just won, you know, a Pulitzer for a Pulitzer. You know what I mean. Last night, Lena said Pulitzer. a Pulitzer Prize for her article on Lex. And Andrea was like, well, that makes people click away because they think it's boring and it's homework and it's school and it's too heavy and it's too much and all this stuff. And I mean, I kind of understand, because that's, again, like the struggle that these media companies are facing. We have so much media now, but at the same time, like, you know, we're kind of torn about who to believe, who to trust, who's just baiting, who's just, you know, using this for clicks, you know, all this stuff. It's a decent question, and I think it's really cool that they're going to explore that. I'm very intrigued about this storyline, especially when it comes to William Day, who is the new reporter coming into Catco. Andrea Rojas brings him in from the Times of London. I had some trouble with his accent last night, but I think I got it. He just talked real fast, but that's fine. He is kind of an asshole. He really is. He's really an asshole. And he basically, his story is that he wrote for the Times of London. He wrote these like hard-hitting pieces and this like very, very, very integral journalism that he did with lots of, you know, integrity and honesty and duality, you know, with both sides of the story kind of thing. And Kara was like, you know, I really admired your work at the Times. And he's like, thank you, but that's what they wanted. And he's like, well, here, you know, Andrea wants tweets, clickbait, you know, all of this stuff. And that's what she's going to get. Like, Andrea had him rewrite Kara's article, and he just took out one whole perspective. Like, Kara's like, you can't do that. You can't, that's bias reporting. And he's like, every reporting has inherent bias. And I just think this guy's an asshole. Oh man, he's too much. But I'm really excited for Kara and him to butt heads because of what happened after. Just immediately while they were having this conversation, Kara was like, you know what? No, I am not going to bend to your will, even though you say that you'll blackball me if I quit. So I'm not going to quit, but I'm going to stay here and I'm going to do journalism. Sure, I may like shorten my articles or whatever, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have integrity. I'm not sacrificing my morals for you. And that was so good. That was such a great moment for Kara in this episode, because I think it really shows some growth for her from season 2 to now, because thinking back on season 2, it was Kara when she wasn't meek by any means, but she wasn't as quick to be aggressive or stand up for herself, especially in situations with Mon-El. And I think that William Day reminds me of Mon-El, but Kara, you know, reacts to him in a completely different way. She's like, no, F you, I'm gonna do what I believe in and what I find good journalism to be. I'm not going to let you rewrite my articles. I'm not going to let you silence my voice. And I thought that was such a good moment. Like, that was such a growth moment for Kara that I think, you know, and that's all we can ask for when, you know, when we're watching a show for seasons and seasons on end is that we see growth within these characters. And for Kara to be able to grow the way that she has, and for us to have like kind of a direct comparison between Mon-El and William Day, it's really cool that she is going to be able to like stand on her own against him, which is awesome. So another thing related to Andrea Rojas that I just kind of briefly mentioned is that she said that, oh, by the way, if you want to quit, I just made new 3-year contracts for everybody. Surprise! If you want to quit, then I'm going to blackball you from the rest of the industry. Good luck. And so Kara, was basically like, well, I'm going to stay because I believe in journalism, I believe in Catco, and I believe in what I'm doing here. But at the end of the episode, we find out that James decides to leave, which obviously is going to tie into Makad's departure on the show. But I'm very intrigued to see what James Olsen ends up doing now. Will he lean more into Guardian? But like Guardian doesn't pay the bills, so what is he gonna do? So I'm just very intrigued about what he could possibly end up doing to lead him out, to the end of this season. I would assume that he would be going back to like Metropolis or whatever, like when he departs. I don't know though. So, I wonder now, what is he gonna do? What is James gonna do? Especially since, Makad is leaving the show. So like what could he possibly be doing to lead him away from National City and to lead him out of the show? So then we find out some stuff about Jean. One little like tidbit that wasn't really even that important, but it was just very sweet to me. Found out that he's a community leader. He when Alex, Kelly, Kara, and Jean were all like having lunch, he was like, well, I gotta go. I don't even remember what he said. He had to like go teach these kids something. I don't even remember. It was some kind of community activity though. It was very sweet. I'm like, oh, that's what he needs to be. Like, he's a space dad. And he's going to be a space dad to all of these other kids. And I love that. So that was just like a little tidbit that I thought was really adorable about Jean. But the main storyline with Jean this episode was about his brother, which is insane. And one thing that I noticed about his brother is that his eyes are green. And his like shape-shifting power is also green. When Jean shapeshifts, his is red. His power is red. It manifests, in a red way. And his eyes are also red, like his Martian eyes. I thought that was very interesting because obviously we know that the Monitor is the one who brought Jean's brother either just to Earth or to this Earth, to Earth 38. I have a feeling that he's from another Earth, and when they collide at Jean's PI office, I think that, so they collided and then they kind of like split apart, like they kind of canceled each other out in a weird way. I think that has to do with them being from different Earths, like or something, or different timelines or whatever. Somehow the Monitor, brought this guy, and Jean was like, dude, I don't have a brother. My dad, he was like, your dad and you are the same, like, whatever. And he's like, my dad is dead. Like, I don't have a brother. I've never had a brother. And I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was a really cool storyline to, kick off this Jean's brother storyline with, because, I think maybe we all kind of assumed that Jean knew about his brother, or like at least thought he had a brother, and maybe he just died with his family on Mars, but to find out that he's like, I don't have a brother. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know who you are. I think that's really intriguing. So that's very interesting to me. I'm really excited to see how that plays out. Like I said, I think he's definitely from a different Earth or a different timeline. Like, that's why he doesn't know. Kind of like how there's many, every season of The Flash, we get a new Dr. Wells. I think it's kind of like that, where, he's from a different Earth, so Jean from that Earth has a brother, but not Jean from Earth 38, you know what I mean? So I'm excited, though, to see, because it looked like in the trailer for next week that a lot of the episode is to do with Jean and his brother, kind of like we guessed before. And then Nia and Brainy, they're so cute. They're so cute. They're so adorable. I love them so much. They're everything I could have ever wanted, ever. They're just so cute. So there's this thread throughout the episode where they're talking and they're arguing about who is the best movie villain, or like who's the meanest movie villain, or whatever, who's like the baddest movie villain. And Nia is like, hey, it's Hannibal Lecter. The dude eats people. But Brainy's like, no, it's Miranda Priestley from Devil Wears Prada. And Nia's like, but Hannibal like eats people. Miranda Priestley was just like a mean boss lady. And so she can't seem to understand why Brainy is saying like this character is, evil and is not like a good person in any way. She understands that, but why is she worse than Hannibal Lecter? Like, that's what she's like struggling to understand. And Brainy's like, well, I guess there's this like Earth tradition where, the boyfriend is not right ever. The girlfriend is always right. And he's like, I don't know if I agree with that, but you know what? We're going with it. And so they have a lot of cute moments in this episode. Brainy also is the one to design Kara's new suit. And we find out, because, I was speculating either last episode or the episode before, I can't remember, maybe both. I was speculating last episode that, how does Kara's new suit materialize? Like, what does she use to, like, activate the materialization of her suit? And I had speculated, like, a ring, like the Flash ring, or, like, a bracelet, or, like, necklace or some kind. But we find out that Brainy makes this little chip, and she just sticks it right on her glasses, and I guess it's like motion activated, so when she goes for the glasses, like to take them off, it activates her suit, which was awesome. That was such a sick moment. It was amazing. And Brainy's just amazing, and I love that he was so considerate about Kara and about her cape, even when she really wasn't. She was like, I was just kept veering off to the right, and he's like, well, yeah, see, I was totally right that that this cape issue is even worse than planets being destroyed. I was right. I thought that was such a great scene. And also another funny Brainy moment from this episode was when Kara was like, well, I'm just gonna have to hunt Midnight, and Jean, you're just gonna have to accept the award as me. And Alex was like, no, and Brainy was like, yes, please do it. I love when you do that, please. And I'm like, that's us. Because it's always a good time when Jean has to pretend to be Kara. It's always a good time. And then they have this amazing, Brainy and Nia, have this amazing couple scene toward the end of the episode. And it was just so cute. It was so cute. It was so pure. It was so wholesome. It was the kind of content that I needed after that whirlwind of an episode. And it was just so sweet because, Nia was like, okay, listen, we've been handshaking. We have exchanged handshakes. You won't kiss me. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. What is up? You don't want to like be close to me. We're supposed to be a couple. We've been dating for a month and, you won't really go near me. She's like, what's the deal? And Brainy is like, well, Nia, you're the first person that I've ever loved. And you know why I think Miranda Priestley is the worst movie villain? Because she is cold and she's inconsiderate of others and she is mean and she does not care if she hurts the people she loves. And that's exactly how I behaved when I was on that island with you. I left you in that crate. I left you, and I don't know if I can trust myself again to be around you, and I don't want to hurt you. And that was so sweet. It was such a sweet moment for him, to finally be able to let out those emotions surrounding that time, where he was, totally emotionless and totally like robotic. we never really got to hear him talk about that, and I love that. I love that they let him, talk about that and have those feelings and feel insecure around Nia because he loves her and he wants to treat her right. And, he doesn't think that he can do that because he's scared that he'll just hurt her again like he did before. So I love that. Everything Brainy and Nia, everything about them this episode was incredible. I loved it. I loved everything about it. It was amazing. And then Alex, she is a Supercorp warrior. That was shown when, that was very much shown when she decided to, tell Kara, hey, have you talked to Lena yet? Have you told her yet, idiot? And Kara's like, no, I had to take the dog to the vet. And Alex is like, Kara, you don't have a dog. And I think that line is on the same level as take the grass, Kara. It has the same energy. It was a great line, though. It was a really good scene where, we saw the growth of Alex, again, from season 2 to now. Like, Alex in season 2 would have been like, don't you dare tell that Luther, that you're Supergirl. And now she's like, I respect Lena. I love Lena. She deserves to know the truth. Come on, Kara. I don't mean to nag you, but, like, come on, do it. Tell Lena. Don't, And Kara's like, I'm just being a coward. And she's like, no, you're the bravest person I've ever known. It was very sweet. And she didn't have a whole lot to do this episode. She had some really cute, like, romantic-y scenes with Kelly, which were really, really adorable. Honestly, they were really just like breadcrumbs, though, so I hope that, further into the season we start to see more of them developing and talking, and, hopefully we'll get some more of that. But we did actually get some, like, individual development for Kelly. It was the first day of work for her. She has this new job at Obsidian Tech, who have created these contacts that you put in their VR contacts, and so you can enter, like, a virtual reality with them. They are what Lena uses, which I will get to in a second. So Kelly is going to be using Obsidian Technology, who is owned by Andrea Rojas as well. So she owns Obsidian and Catco, which could be dangerous, to be able to run kind of a false narrative or to block Kara from running any stories negatively about Obsidian. So that's very dangerous kind of a situation that they have there, because I feel like probably later in the season, not even that far into the season, but kind of within the first 5 episodes, I'm sure that Kara's gonna be like, this is dangerous, because she already reacted very negatively in this first episode to the VR technology. I feel like she's really gonna kind of try to attack Obsidian Tech, and Andrea's gonna be like, no, it's not happening. You're not going to run this story. I'm not going to run this story. And it'll be really interesting to see that. But back to Kelly. So she's got this new job, and she is trying to help PTSD patients and patients with dementia through this VR program. So she's going to try to get them through their trauma, as well as probably, try and make them get their memories back from the dementia. And James at one point goes to talk to Kelly, and he's like, yeah, I just don't know what I'm gonna do about this Andrea Rojas thing. I don't know if I can sacrifice my morals for this company. And she's like, well, you know what? Whatever you guys decide to do, you and Kara, whatever you do, I'm gonna support you. But quietly. Because she's like, I'm not trying to get fired on the first day at my new job. And I love that. I really respect that, because that shows how much Kelly believes that this is going to make a change. You know what I mean? Like, she truly believes that she is going to help these people with this technology, that she can maybe, help people work through their PTSD, work through their struggles with dementia, work through all of that. Try and figure this out through this technology. So she's not willing to risk it for her brother or for her sister, for her girlfriend's sister. Like, she's not. And I really admire that. I think that's really cool that she's not at odds with Kara the way that Maggie constantly was, but she she definitely like has her own autonomy from James and from Kara, and I think that'll be really interesting. I hope it probably will kind of be a point of tension later in the season where maybe, you know, Kara is vehemently against Obsidian Tech and their VR, and Kelly's like, well, you know what, like, we're doing good things, maybe before she realizes that they're not doing good things, because there's no way that they're doing good things. Oh god, they're so evil. But yeah, so I really liked that development for Kelly. I think it made her a very well-rounded character. I'm really excited to see where she goes from here. So now here we are. We're going to talk about Kara and Lena. So, that opening scene, Kara, it was very classic, very, very Kara, very classic Kara, saving the children. And she says to the kids, she's like, you know, truth is always the best way. And honestly, that line sounded straight out of like a gold or silver age Supergirl comic. And I think that that's kind of funny because in her mind then, Lena is like, you know, Kara is just this comic book hero, you know, this like personified version of, you know, just what I feel like what, you know, like what Lex thought of Superman as or whatever, like this kind of like statuesque kind of an icon more than a personality, you know, because she really didn't have Kara's personality. It was watered down, it was cheesy, it was silly, you know. But we had that opening scene and it was kind of, you know, it was a classic Supergirl moment for this, and I feel like it kind of lulled the audience into a false sense of security. They were like, hey, you've seen this before. Kara has saved people before, you know, like she's stopped buses, she's stopped cars, she's saved kids all the time. Like, this is normal. This is what's happening. And then you see Lena and you're like, okay, what's Lena doing there? And even Supergirl's like, Miss Luthor, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, why the formalities? I thought we were best friends. Kara. And then she punches Kara. She punches Kara into the bus and the bus explodes. It was literally so funny. I'm like, Lena, you're so dramatic. You're so dramatic. So that was obviously the outcome of the punch from the trailer, and as we all pretty much guessed, it was in VR. Lena did not do that in real life. And then we find out that she has an AI that she created, and it's called Hope. And I think this is very important. This is a very important topic to talk about because Lena even said in the episode, she's like, I've created this technology to help mankind. Like, she is trying her best to help mankind with this Hope AI technology. And the fact that she even named it Hope, like she named the technology Hope, which is exactly what Kara's symbol on her chest symbolizes. Like, there is no way that she is fully permanently mad at Supergirl. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that she is fully permanently mad at her because, you know, she's still kind of, even without maybe unknowingly trying to live in her example, like live by Supergirl's example. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's trying so hard to still like help people and be kind. She's just mad at Kara, you know? And so I feel like, though, that this Hope AI is kind of corrupting Lena a bit, because at the party for Kara's Pulitzer, Hope is like, well, Miss Luthor, do you want me to publish it? Like the video that Lena was intending to release that would expose Kara's identity as Supergirl, which is very cruel and very mean. I don't know if I'd ever be able to forgive Lena if she had outed Kara that way. I because then later she's like, well, Miss Luther, why didn't you let me publish this video? Why didn't you post it? Why didn't you post the video, Miss Luther? And Lena's like, oh, whatever. But I feel like this AI is going to try and steer Lena into some bad directions. And, hopefully, I think, because again, like I had mentioned it before, that either being controlled by this AI or being controlled by these contacts, either way, I think that that's the writer's excuse to like let Lena be, quote unquote evil without it actually being Lena's control. And then that would make sense for Kara to be able to fight for her soul, if it's not of Lena's own volition, you know what I mean? Because you can't change somebody who doesn't want to change. But if Lena is changing, not of her own autonomy, but on the suggestion and the manipulation of this AI or the influence of these contacts, because, in this episode, I thought it was very strange that Lena could just, like, switch like that. Just, boom, switched. Like, after that balcony scene, when she, like, looks like she's gonna cry because Kara, her friend, is, like, trusting her with this watch. Like, hey, whenever you're in trouble, just call me, the super watch. When she comes in, she's like, well, I'm just playing the long game, Hope. I'm gonna get her. Like, the best way to, like, betray somebody is to gain their trust. I'm like, oh my God. But it was a very quick switch, and I don't know, I'm very concerned about what is happening with Lena. And then, the reveal. The reveal was incredible. Kara revealed herself to Lena as Supergirl. She said, I can read the speech. I won't read the whole thing, but I love one thing that she said that I want to talk about. So she says, I'm Supergirl. I've always been Supergirl. She takes off the glasses. She's like, I know that I should have told you long ago, but I convinced myself that I was protecting you. And then you were so angry with me with Supergirl, but you still loved Kara. And this is my favorite part. And she says, I just kept thinking, if I could be Kara, just Kara, that I could keep you as a friend. I was selfish and scared, and I didn't want to lose you, so I kept pretending, and I never stopped. But every time I kept my secret, I wasn't protecting you. I was hurting you, just like everyone else. And then she apologizes, and she's like, please, Lena, say something. And Lena walks away and is about to go introduce her as the Pulitzer Prize winner, which, very stressful for Kara, I would assume. But I love that scene. I think it was incredible. Melissa was absolutely incredible. Like, she's literally just crying and shaking because, this is no excuse, obviously, for Kara hiding her secret from Lena for years. And obviously Kara doesn't owe anybody her identity, but it is valid that Lena is mad and Kara is valid in her reason for keeping her secret, So it's not like a who's right sort of thing. They're both right. Like, Lena has every right to be hurt, but Kara had every right to keep her secret. But the thing is, and again, this is not an excuse for Kara, but it's kind of an explanation. All of her trauma is rooted in people she loves, like, leaving her. Losing the people she loves is every single thing that has to do with her trauma. Like, that is it. Flat out it. Because when she was on Krypton, even before it exploded, she lost her Aunt Astra and her Uncle Non because her mom, she found out some stuff later, but her mom sent her aunt and her uncle to prison. So she lost her aunt and her uncle. Then her whole entire world exploded. Then she was lost in the Phantom Zone, and by the time she got to Earth, like, her cousin was already grown up, so she kind of lost her cousin as well because he was already a grown man. He didn't know anything about her, really. Because when you're that young, you don't really have any memories like that. And so she lost her cousin, and then she lost her adoptive dad. Then she lost, I don't know, she just keeps losing people. Oh, she lost her aunt again. She lost Astra again because Alex killed her. Oh my God. And then, and that's why, people get really mad about in season 3 how much of how much she like moped and was like about Mon-El. But the thing is that, again, it was like Kara's trauma is rooted in losing people. She even said it herself, like she put him on this pedestal because she lost him, because he had to go away. You know, she lost Mon-El, and that was kind of like the last straw. She just snapped. She couldn't handle losing another person, and that's why I think she didn't tell Lena. She was like, I can't lose you. I cannot lose another person. I literally cannot stand to lose another person, because you all saw what happened when I lost Mon-El. And that's why I think it's going to really be terrible when Lena finally, because we have a whole nother reveal that still has to happen, where Lena reveals that Lex told her and that she's kind of been playing a double agent at this moment. But yeah, so that's my rant, I guess, about Kara. I love Kara so much. She's just my favorite character of all time. But yeah, so, and then, but the thing is, again, with Lena, like, she's totally valid in all of her feelings as well, because all of her trauma is rooted in betrayal. All of her trauma is rooted in people treating her badly, and her mom and her dad and Lex and everything, like, you know, even just everything. Poor Lena, like, you know, everybody betrays her, like, so many times. Eve betrayed her as well. Oh my god. And so all of her trauma is rooted in this betrayal, and so for Kara to do that, and for it to be revealed in the way that it was, she kind of equates Kara now on the same level as Lex or as Lillian or as Eve. You know, so I think it's very interesting, like, to kind of dissect their trauma, because you know, it's very upsetting to both of them what they've had to go through together. And just like a quick mention, I'm gonna get to a little bit more of Kara's scenes, but all of these Supercorp moments from this episode were literally incredible. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a crackhead, and I think I've kept this review mostly unbiased so far. So we're gonna put on our Supercorp tinfoil hats for a moment. This was the most romantically coded episode of Supergirl I have ever seen. Like, because you had all of your duos. You had Brainy and Nia, Alex and Kelly, and then you had Kara and Lena. And there was that shot before Kara went up to tell her she was Supergirl. Literally Romeo and Juliet, like, Lena up on the balcony, Kara looks up, and then she, like, kind of panics, and then she goes to meet her. Like, are you kidding? Like, that was so romantic. Like, it was unbelievable. So I just think everything about this episode for them was very, very romantically coded. Especially Kara, or Lena's speech for Kara. She was like, you know, you'll always be my best friend. And that was just so sweet. I was so surprised. I was like, are you kidding? Like, literally, you should have heard me screaming at the TV, like, are you kidding? She's totally cool with it. But I knew that something was up, because I'm like, this cannot be how it really is. And of course, you know, we got that moment at the end where Lena's like, well, she trusts me, so now I'm gonna get her. But I honestly believe that Lena just, like, playing it cool and, you know, hanging out with Kara like she used to do, honestly, that's gonna make her kind of, like, fall back in with Kara. Not like in love or whatever, but, you know, if you want to say that, but even just, like, as a friend, like, she's gonna be like, well, damn, I miss this. I miss hanging out with Kara. I miss my best friend. And that's why I think it's probably gonna make it hard for this AI to, like, take over, or maybe there'll be kind of like a split personality within Lena, where when she's with Kara, she's actually very happy and she's starting to forgive her, but then this, like, AI and this VR, like, starts to corrupt her, and so she kind of has these two attitudes about her, and they're both, like, tugging on her soul, and so Kara is obviously going to try and fight for her soul. And then yeah, so then we had the moment with the Superwatch, which I mentioned before. That was such a good moment. That was what fanfic dreams are made of, honestly. Oh, and then Lena was literally the first person to see Kara in her new suit. She's like, well, I guess that's your cue, Supergirl. And that was, again, like, every fanfic has that line in it. Like, any fanfic is like, well, Supergirl, it's up to you now. Or, you know, like, Lena saying something like that. And then when Kara was like, pants, and Lena was like, literally just like smiled at her. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I was so happy. I was so happy. And then they had to crush my dreams, but that's okay. And then just some quick little ending things. I loved that Kara, when they were all fighting this final battle. Oh, first of all, Alex had this really funny line. She's like, how do you guys get changed so fast? Because Brainy was there, Nia was there. Jean just fought in his suit, but James was there. He was Guardian. Hello, Guardian. Like, nice to see ya. Everybody was all changed in their suit, and Alex was like, how do you guys get changed so fast? It was so funny. But they open up, Midnight opens up this black hole, who Midnight was sent by Jean's brother to attack Jean, because Jean was the one that threw her into the Phantom Zone. She was definitely an episodic villain. That's for sure. She was fine. She was good. I mean, she was good, like, episodic villain, but, anyway. So she opens up this black hole in the ceiling, and Kara's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Can I solar flare inside of it and kill it? And Brainy's like, well, no, because you would die. And Kara's like, well, okay. And so then they, like, come up with this plan, and Jean gets sucked into this black hole. So Alex shoots Midnight back into the portal or whatever. It was either Brainy or Alex, I can't remember. But then Kara's like, well, we can't just leave Jean in this black hole. And Brainy's like, well, the odds say that, there's only like a 2% chance that you'll come back. And Kara's like, well, you cannot just do something because the odds say that you're gonna screw up. Like, you have to just try, like, no matter the odds. And she, like, they could have just done the Han Solo thing and said, don't tell me the odds, but that's fine. So she goes into the black hole and saves Jean. It was such a good moment because, again, classic Supergirl moment. She's sacrificing herself for her friends, which I love. I love to see, I don't love to see Kara just, like, try to kill herself all the time, but I definitely love, I love seeing Kara, be the selfless hero that we know her as. So that was awesome. And, yeah. Oh, and one more thing is, like, that line of, like, don't tell me the odds or whatever, that very much was like, she was like, well, you know what, the odds were Lena was gonna hate me, and she doesn't, so I could do anything. Like, it was amazing. Some other quick highlights are, they had the Supergirl and Superman Lost Children of Krypton Museum, which was really cool. I want to go there. If the CW ever did a pop-up of that, I would absolutely go. And then, yeah, just, like, good. It was a good episode. Oh, and then Eve at the end, she got kidnapped. I have a feeling she got kidnapped by Lena. Because I think in the new trailer, it was the audio of, I need to know why you betrayed me, which, again, since Lena is playing the long game, she would never say that to Kara. She would never be like, I need to know why you betrayed me, unless it was in VR, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that she's saying that to Eve, and maybe we'll finally, start to get an inkling of this pregnancy storyline, maybe, if it happens. Get an insight into Leviathan, because there was no mention of Leviathan in this episode, but just that little quick Eve, she was coming out of the diner, and it seriously looked like the same exact, like, uniform that Livewire wore when she worked at the diner. And I'm like, do all ex-cons just work at this diner in National City? This is just the con diner. Or the ex-villain diner, I guess. I miss Livewire. She was on a poster in that exhibit. I miss her so much. Oh my god. But anyway, yeah, so I love this episode. I thought it was a really, really great premiere. I thought it was, like, it was topical without being too preachy, because sometimes last season they got a bit too preachy and people were like, come on, this is too much. So I thought it was really good. I thought it was topical like that. I thought the writing was incredible. I thought the acting was amazing. Obviously, kudos to Melissa. I think she deserves some kind of award for that. Give her an Emmy, CW. Submit her for an Emmy next year. That was amazing. It was so good. Like, I'm not trying to, like, say that just because I'm a fan of the show, but it was genuinely a very, very good performance. Like, she was trembling, she was crying. It was really good. And same thing with Katie, having to act opposite of that, having to try to remain stoic and have just, your eyes just fill with tears, but then not actually let them fall. Like, that was amazing. It was so good. Honestly, it was a really good episode all around. I really, really enjoyed it. Definitely would give it like a 9 out of 10 for sure. And yeah, I just loved it. Let me know if you loved it. Did you love the episode? Hopefully you did. Let me know your theories, your thoughts, your comments. You can tweet me at Televised Pod. Let me know what you think. And if you're watching on YouTube, just leave a comment. I reply and read to every single one of these comments because I really, really enjoy interacting with all of you, because that's why I made this. I just wanted to share my opinions and hear other people's opinions about the show. So I'm really excited. I think season 5 is going to be really, really good. I'm really excited. So be sure to subscribe, rate on iTunes, whatever you do. And I will see you next week for the new episode of Supergirl. I'll see you then. Bye.